The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show Live. I am the big guy, Ryback. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen, streaming on TikTok and Instagram as well, live streaming the big guy, Ryback20. Greatly appreciate all the love and support on those platforms. That, and as always here on Ryback TV, Ryback Rules on Twitch, and Ryback on Twitter. Super chats are brought up on the screen on this. I try to get to your questions, life, health, fitness, supplementation, feed me more nutrition questions, pro wrestling questions, whatever questions you may have. This podcast is available on all podcast platforms as well. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. This show is brought to you by, and always brought to you by, Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, third-party tested, no harmful artificial sweeteners or colors, vegan friendly for men and women on feedmemore.com. I'm fasting. I'm deep into my fast here. So I got to get to tonight to get spit it out, Junior. I'm having my coffee here to try to wake up a little more. But you get a little, these fasts, I tell you, you go from being like really sharp to really, where just, I don't want to, I guess spaced out is where it's almost like a numb, like your brain will tingle at times. And like, it's a cool feeling, but like you're very, very mellow and calm. And then, but you can get hit with huge surges of energy as well. So, but anyways, this podcast, guys, with that Feed Me More Nutrition, you could save 20% discount code RYBACKSHOW20. That's RYBACKSHOW20 over on feedmemore.com. You could sign up for my massive savings programs with the email and text message as well. And which we've got the new Feed Me More Nutrition maximum size and strength workout program available on there for you guys as well. The BMR calculator, which is free to track your calories to see how many calories you need per day. And the new website is going to be hopefully up by the end of next week. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove Twitch from the stream. Thanks for playing, guys. You don't really hurt anything because no one listens to the show on Twitch anyways, because they have a partnership with WWE and nobody sees the account. Good to see all of you. Let's get to some questions here, guys. What do we got going on? Love from India. Thank you very much. Let's see, big guy. When it was a shield through you on the commentary. Hey, big guy, how was it when the shield threw you on the commentary table? By the way, love you. All that was fine. All commentary table stuff was easy. You don't feel a thing on any of that. Getting power bombed in the ring hurts more than getting power bombed on a table. Believe it or not. At least in my experience. India, good to see all of you. 1.2 thousand people over on TikTok watching the Ryback Show right now. Thank you very much. Today should be a pretty big day on TikTok with the numbers continuing to go up as well on there, even though it's slowed down a little bit. We found TikTok has removed 3 videos without removing them. They've left them on my page. They froze them where people can't see them that were going viral. And we're going to get millions of views. And I actually have the contact, and they're looking into it over there. And I just go, it just doesn't make sense. I said, why would they? I log into my other account and can see it. That's not showing up on my feed, and they confirmed it on their end. So I have that going on. That's always great. It's always something with all of this. And then I'll get to this question and tell you guys on the front of Phoenix Marie's. She's involved in the class action lawsuit with OnlyFans, and I don't believe it. I believe it's against OnlyFans, but with them conspiring with Meta and IG, and putting people on a terrorism list, that it's essentially just a way to shadow ban them without officially shadow banning them, which IG has confirmed with me that they are able that, and there's no help for it, that internally they could just suppress your account and they don't have a help feature to help you why they would internally be suppressing your account. This has been confirmed, by the way, and outside of the regular shadow banning and all that other stuff. So it's I'm actually have reached out and I'm getting in contact with the attorneys that are involved in that. And the big guy's going to do a little digging, and I'm going to find out on that list, and because there's a lot of names on that list, and it's all people that should not be on that list. And I do believe Phoenix was telling me that she thinks this is going to blow up a lot bigger. They've hidden it pretty well, like had things removed on online searches, and I think I told you guys you can't hide stuff forever, and they're doing a lot of bad things to a lot of people and hurting a lot of people. And I'm just one person and a lot more people. But I do believe WWE and Vince with their partnerships, what it's going to open the floodgates on is you're going to see that everything I've said has been true, but that these companies are evil. And if they conspire with one organization like OnlyFans in shadow banning and blocking people and deleting their accounts on that who else will they do that for? And the answer is any of their partners. So that's what I'm got to do a little digging and see here with everything and see what we find. Smash Ultra, thank you for the super chat. I went to the gym because pain is good, but I really wish you're impervious to bullets if you train hard, kind of like a new meaning of pain is good for you. Wish you're impervious to bullets. I'm not really sure. There's not a question on this, but thank you. I think I'm glad you're going to the gym. Pain is good in the sense of, I guess if you classify it like pushing yourself and like fatigue and like your legs are getting tired and being able to fight and work through that. Pain in the sense of like being hurt though and trying to train through that is not good. And if I could just add on what you said to help people with that, if your arm is dangling and like the nerves are fried and you've got broken bones and you're still curling, I'm still going, pain, feed me pain. Like you're not going to be feeding yourself much of anything past that, except for probably painkillers and whatever else, so you don't want to go that route. Steve-O says, my friend Bobby and I are watching you right now. Bobby, I hope you're doing well. Bobby, thank you. Hello, I'm French and wanted to tell you that you're one of my favorite wrestlers. Thank you. Super chat here from Orbitary. Thank you, buddy. Is it true that the WWE later enforced a drug testing rule which required talent to strip down bottomless for urinalysis while the tester watched? Yes. I've been a part of many of those. I'll tell you I've talked about it before on the show, but I will give you the exact details of what that entails. So this started when I was in developmental. The drug testing started when I was at my first time around at OVW. And I'm going to pull this off the screen on the drug testing just for you. So, because this might be a little lengthy. And so initially the testers did not watch you. You would just go into a bathroom, you'd go into a stall or a urinal, whatever was available, or the bathroom in developmental, they had a door, and you would just fill up the cup for them. And that was the initial testing on that. And then when I was released from the company in developmental from OVW for about 2 years. In that time span, that OVW, that was done, and everyone went to Florida Championship Wrestling. So, and it was at FCW. It was one of the Samoans, if I'm not mistaken. They got caught with a thing called a Wizinator, where it's essentially a fake deal. And I don't want to think as a TikTok, but a fake men's member. And that you have a bag like strapped to you, and you could use somebody else's urine that's clean and get a clean test. So guys were doing this during the first couple years of the testing. The guy got busted. One of them, they caught the guy with the fake deal. Then the testing went completely like what you heard, to where, and then in WWE, whether it was FCW and then later on the main roster, so you would show up to TV every once in a while, a live event, but mostly TVs. And you would just the what's it called? You would get there and they say, "Oh, the testers are here. You got to go into talent relations." So you'd go into the talent relations room and they would corral all the guys up, and like you just get in there and you'd have to like you drink water to have to go. But so the process is they corral you in there. You get in there, so you're allowed like 2 or 3 bottles of water. You can't drink too much water, but you're allowed a certain amount of water. So like guys are drinking water to try to have to go to the bathroom. Sometimes you're sitting in there for like an hour, you just don't have to go. And like then the tester, they get your ID, you have to go through, fill out the paperwork. Then they go into the bathroom with you and the tester, and it's a male tester, and you have to go in there, you have to lift your shirt up and show them your nipples. Why you have to show them your nipples, to this day I don't know how that has anything to do with showing them your gimmick. But show them the tits. Sorry, the chest. So you lift up the shirt, show them your chest, your nipples, and then you pull your pants down to your ankles. You got to pull them all the way down. They can't be like to the knee. They got to be all the way down. So then you're just saying, and like and the guy has to observe you, and then you have to fill up the cup in front of him, and then you just like I would just finish going, because like once you start, you don't want to like I would literally just be boom, just keep going with that. But to say it was like it was odd. It honestly, and I never really. You just get used to it eventually, and we're just like, this is just ridiculous, literally and figuratively. And then you go in there, and the guy tapes it up, and then they take it in and they send it into the testing agency. Once I was there, and after I was already pretty established enough, like they'd always use the referees, and they have their little walkie talkies, and they're like, I usually like I tell the guys, they try to get you in there right away. I go, look, I just got done training. I've got like 15 minutes to hit the anabolic window on my hour post training to get my meal in. I'm going to go into catering. I'm going to go sit down. I'm going to have a meal. You guys could watch me. I don't know what you think I'm going to do that like is not going to like, eventually they just let me do my thing. I was like, I not, you guys, I'm clean. Like we all like, but like a lot of the guys, they would like with the marijuana and things, they would give them a heads up. And like I didn't do any of that, so I didn't care on that. And that wasn't a suspension, anyways. That was a fine, which was just more annoying than anything if you ever got that right with that. But like it was just it was a tedious process of just being more annoying than anything with that. And a lot of people, it is I always ask myself, I go, man, what would lead someone to get a job doing that, to go watch people do that? That's kind of an odd thing. Like, I'm going to go get a job. I have a passion for watching people go to the bathroom. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. So I always like just felt it's like, man, what led you down this path, man? How did you end up here? But yeah, so that's what it was. That's what it was. Got some super chats rolling in here. Super chat. Hold on, we're gonna shell shock someone out of there. Smash Ultra, thank you for the super chat. What powers and species do you want and want to be? What power? I'm very happy just being human, and I thought it always would have been cool to fly, to be like Superman. I think that would, I'm already pretty strong, but it'd be pretty cool to be able to hulk up and to just increase your size massively like the Incredible Hulk and fly at the same time. Big flying big guy, just all oversized, 20 times the size of regular big guy. That'd be pretty cool. Just flying around, hanging out on mountains, I'd probably say that's the two. Another Matt, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Is it true you were too stiff and aggressive during matches? And so I'm going to say no. And this is one of the lies that was put out. And sorry, I'm going to hide this so I can answer Matt. This all started that when I was working the local talents. And none of the local talents, if you ever go and ask them, and those matches with the local talents were the most aggressive matches I ever did, as far as in that, and none of those guys were ever hurt or injured or anything. And I was specifically told to be aggressive, and I did my job, hit hard in safe places, but not and don't hurt anybody, and I never did on that. So, and that's part of the believability of looking like you're hurting somebody without hurting them on that. But I was far more aggressive with those guys, right? Because that was the get over phase, and that was the instructions. Go get over with that. Right. And so, and then it depends who you're working, but some guys you can work a little like Sheamus and me. We don't even have to say anything. We just know that it's like he likes to work a little more physical, and that's what it should be. And that's why the big guys, and this was always taught to me, if you look the way that I look and you go out there and throw fluff, you are not going to be around, and Vince will sour on you like that with that. But there's a key to working with people and protecting them. And, I'm just giving you an example. Punk, I couldn't give Punk a body slam without him. Punk, and I'm talking dropping him gently, was so beat up. And that guy, he would complain about everybody. And this isn't me. I would literally watch him working other people. He used to complain about Brody Lee all the time, being too stiff with him. All the guys. And I'm just like, if you know, you guys aren't going to know, but the people back there, they know with that. So it's, but yeah, it's a physical sport though. And like, it's with that, but all that stuff all was a lot later. And a lot of it wasn't there outside of I remember the local athletes, they started, and that was all coming from everything I've talked about in detail with my situation with them. They started putting out false things right away. It's like the Brock Lesnar story. They said Brock Lesnar beat me up. Brock never beat me up. How does that even get put out by people? People should go, whoever was the first to mention that, whether it was that Schmelzer, Alka-Seltzer dude, whatever, they should see if he's the one that said that, it's a flat out lie. And that guy flat out lies. And that's what I always say, like, no respect for any of those people with that. But I dealt with that from the beginning on seeing that. I'm like, what are they talking about? So, and here's going to be, this is where I'm going to leave you with on this. Why was I constantly working with all the other top people, regardless of where I was, whether I was in working main events or mid card, always working with the top people. There you go. I would not be working with top people if I was taking out people. And I ask, who did you ever see me take out that missed time? I know guys that are active on the rosters that have ended guys' careers. I never ended a guy's career. Right. So I think people, though, they latch on to something. I look like a big, bad, big, aggressive guy. So it's believable. And you want to find a reason to hate me. Right. So, and not you, but just saying in general, it's not true with that. But I'm a fast and physical human being by nature, but you adjust it. And I always take it as a compliment that people think that, because I think it's a true testament to being able to do that and make it as believable as possible. So. When I was in Tough Enough, did I have any interactions with Eddie or Benoit? Yes. Or any stories come to mind? It was just Tough Enough a legit competition, or just a viewer ratings kind of thing? So just I've trained with Chris Benoit. He came down to Deep South Wrestling a couple times, and I had to take like 50 arm drags from him one day because Bill DeVot, it was like 8-hour training days down there. This was just straight boot camp. Whatever they'd ever said about WCW Power Plant, this was a million times worse. It was, and I wasn't at the power plant, but this was a million times worse. And I'm thankful for all of it though, because nothing was ever as hard as that. But I bruised my tailbone, and you just keep training. You don't say anything. There weren't even trainers back then. Like, we didn't even have like a staff to like go to, right? And so I was taking my bumps. I'm usually bumped very aggressively, but at that particular morning, I had a bruised tailbone that lasted for about a month. And like Benoit was like, Bill said something to him, and like, oh, Ryback, Ryan doesn't know how to take arm drags apparently today. And so Chris, you don't know how to take. Chris didn't know. He was like, he thought I legit didn't know how to take arm drags. And I just go, yeah, I guess I don't know how to take arm drags. And because like, I'm brand new at the time, so I had to take 50 in a row with a bruised tailbone. Chris Benoit, full blown Chris Benoit mode, going. I blown to pieces. Just I'll never forget that day. But then like Chris had like all these drills we were doing set up, and the funny thing is before he got there, we had to run like a mile around the building. We had to do all these 500 Hindu squats, 100 push-ups, 100 crunches, and 100 of something else, and then along with all our stretches. So we're already like that was just before all the drills at Deep South, and I had to do that twice a day with both classes. This is why nothing will ever faze me ever in life after surviving all this. And Chris gets there. He got there a little late that morning, and Bill or at least according to what Bill had said at the time. And Chris goes, "Oh, have the guys done anything yet? Or are they warmed up?" And Bill goes, "Nope, they're all yours." So we had to, which was a rip from Bill. We had to do the whole training all over. We had to do our whole warm ups. So we were 1,000 Hindu squats in before we even did Chris Benoit training. By the way, 200 crunches and then the 200 push-ups and whatever, and all the stretches all over. So yeah, and then Chris on the main roster, I saw him up there. But I remember Eddie more. I remember seeing Eddie, and he was in pain. Like he'd always have like ice packs or heat packs on, which I understood like that you would get before your matches, and we'd used them at different points and times. You know, you'd ice afterwards if you were a little banged up, or you throw a heating pad on if your shoulder's a little stiff or your neck's a little stiff before you go out there. But he was always very nice to me. He always very nice. And I remember it's crazy how you just have weird memories of something in your head. I have a memory walking in the airport during Tough Enough to go fly home, and all the other wrestlers were in the airport because it was a small airport, and we all had to connect. You had the same connecting flight to like Chicago or wherever we were going to then go home, right? And I just remember seeing Eddie walking with his head down in front of me, and like tired, and like then me living that life for 5 years straight, pretty much knowing later on, right? And but that memory is always in my head of him with that, and I don't know why. I just remember that like during that period, you just remember little bits and pieces sometimes of things. So, but he was always very, very, very nice. As was Chris. Chris was very, very nice. And Chris taught a lot, on the endurance in your legs. And Bill was really big on this. That, and the reason you do the Hindu squats is no matter how blown up you get in a match, as long as your legs don't fatigue and get jelly on you, because that's one of the things. If your legs go jelly and they're not in shape, you can't stand up. You're not safe. You can't do anything. But if you have your legs, I always do Hindu squats when I'm wrestling more, along like burpees and Hindu squats, because it's key to endurance, that even if you get tired, your legs aren't tired and you can keep going. So learned a very valuable lesson really early on with that. Derek, good to see you, buddy. Derek, the oil boy in the house, saying he wants to grease me up. Matt, thank you for the super chat. YouTuber Wrestle Lamia had said WWE. I have them blocked, by the way. I've had them blocked for years, which is why in places like that will come out. I'm just telling you straight up. They clickbait lies nonstop. And this is about, and I'll tell you this. Wrestle Lamia had said WWE released you because your character clashed too much with Goldberg. Your thoughts? That's not true. They didn't release me. I walked out on my multi-million-dollar contract. So that alone right there just tells you why. When have you ever heard? Why would you think like even that? How is that even believable? Why wouldn't they just book a match if I was still there? They didn't want him there when I was there. They told me that repeatedly, and I've talked about that. And then when I left, and then I'm telling you, they do the craziest things to spite people. They told me for years, you don't want to work with him. You don't want to work with him. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. And then the moment I leave, they bring him back. And I'm happy for him. And that's nothing against him. I like Bill. I've met him. He's a very nice guy. And I want to be his last match. I've said that for years with that. I think it's just the perfect thing. But places like that, I'm just telling you, you're wasting your time watching. These people are evil people that create lies and don't care about people. And that's just that everything that you just posted and that was just a straight up lie. Not true, 100% not true. So I would just say try to spend your time better, Matt. Man, don't get caught up in that life with that. And then there'll be people that like that won't believe me, but they'll believe that. And I'm like, more power to you if that's the case. But that's a bad way to make money. Like it's literally if I just came on here and just started creating lies about other people and wrestlers and people just to try to make money and being negative, which there's other people that do this all the time with that. And the JC guy, the corn guy, he does that. He makes a living off of doing that. And I just think that's a horrible way to live life. No, yeah, the Samoa Joe Tyson Kidd thing. That was a horrific incident. I was there for that. I remember if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was San Antonio, because I remember the arena, and I remember Tyson and them coming back. The and I remember hearing he just remember him cussing and freaking out. I'm just reliving it, literally thinking about that, and then man, and little did we know that was going to be it for him. But that's crazy, right? Well, that Tyson Kidd's a great guy. I've always liked Tyson a lot. It just sucks. I wish he's very smart. Like if I was gonna, I'll tell you what. If I had to pick my producers, like if I had to come back for a match, Ryback Goldberg, I would Tyson Kidd would be one of the producers I'd want to have for my match. I trust him, and like that would be, and uh, and then I would probably go. I would go a two piece. And as much as he could be annoying at times, Michael Hayes is a very smart man as well. I'd throw a two piece in there with Michael Hayes and Tyson Kidd, old school, new school, were my age in that, and yeah, that would be the team. I think Arn would have been if Arn was still there. Arn's another one of my favorites. Arn is a producer and just guy. Always treated me very nice. Always honest. I appreciate Arn because Arn was very honest and would give you a lot of insight into things. And he's always very professional, as are all of them pretty much. But how do you prevent strength loss, weight training as the temperature go up? Well, obviously, you got to make sure you're staying hydrated. I train in my gym, and it gets really hot here in Vegas. I have the air on, and I'll leave the gym door open, the garage door here for the house, so that the AC can go in there. And I'll leave the door shut on the garage so the air doesn't even though it is getting out through the cracks through the garage door a little bit, but it stays relatively cool. But I'll sometimes I keep the door shut and let it just get as hot as possible and train in really hot weather. You sweat a lot. Um, Making sure you have ample fluids before and after. And another thing is sodium intake. You know, like a good thing, like if you sweat a lot and when the temperature's up, drinking a lot of water, like drinking water throughout and then post workout. Also eating a couple pickles or pickle spheres, 3 or 4 of them. If you have an intense training session, like I'll do that. Like if I go do the sauna and I lose I'll lose a lot of water, a lot. And like I got to come back and I got to hydrate and I'll do some pickle spheres to get those sodium levels up. And I've added a little extra sea salt, pink Himalayan sea salt on my meal afterwards as well to make sure that you replace those fluids that you lost in those minerals. Hold on. Are you natty? No, I'm on TRT HRT since 28, the same, since literally been the same since 28 on that, all within the normal ranges. Though I've always been honest about that, and I'm not even, but like so that wouldn't classify as being natty or natural, but my levels are in the natural level. Like my levels are not significantly greater than your everyday regular person, right? With that, so that's where. But I'm very honest about that and always have been with that. It's just I tell people it's like to me, and there are people that can do that, and I know people that go on TRT though, and they take a massive dosage where they're out of the levels. Like that's not me. It never was, never. I don't play that game. Like I want to live for a long time, and I like working hard, and there's the health risk for it. Don't just not worth it to me with that. So let's see. How does timing a match work? Does your time include entrances? And were the cues to go home given by the ref, or did you get better at timing your own matches as time went on? Um, the I'm trying to think back now. Geez, trying to think to the timing on the entrances. If you have, yeah. So what essentially the entrances do count into the match if they're televised on that. And what happens? So say you've got a 12-minute match, right? A 12-minute TV match, which oftentimes would change in Gorilla. Sometimes you'd get time added, but 99% of the time you get time cut, depending on the show where you're at in the show. So, and I got really good at it. I've had to adjust. I've had matches where you got to go right to break really quick and cut out your entire. I mean, cut out like 6 8 minutes of a match, and like, which is where learning how to work on the fly, which I would do on live events more. I wouldn't plan everything on live events outside of the things that needed to be planned, and just have fun and work. And it made it a lot more fun for me. And I got really comfortable doing that as time went on. And it's really, really valuable to do that. And you do that because one, in the crowd, I feel like you listen to the crowd better, and you don't worry about going from thing to thing too much, and you're in the moment, and it's much more exhilarating to then just memorizing stuff. That I'm telling you, I got sick of that really quickly. It's just too boring to me with that, which is why I hated scripted promos with everything, where you're not allowed to put your personality into anything. And like I'm really big on like act and react. I love that part of the business, and I understand that you got to have structure, and I'm all for structure with that. I think it's really good, but I also think you do need to let people have moments, right, and things like that. But so by the time you got to the ring, the referee would tell you, say you've got a 12-minute match, and after both your entrances, you have 9 minutes or you have 10 minutes. The referee would come up and tell me all the time what we had time wise with that, and then you just go, and then now you kind of equate. You take out you adjust when you're putting together a match, that if you have a 12-minute match, all right, we'll do 9 minutes of stuff. And then usually you get your like TV breaks, or they'll cue you in. You got, 30 seconds to break, or, 10 seconds to break. And that's the stuff that's a lot more difficult, that I would say, like going back, that would take a small amount of time to probably to maybe get acclimated to that again, just because I always thought it was really easy once I was going, and never I was pretty hitting times. I don't think I ever got in trouble for not hitting times. I never, not saying there's always going to be, you're never going to be perfect on like that, but like there's ways, like, even you finish a match 30 seconds early, but they're going to be able to get, maybe you get a little extra camera time post match, right? That's not a bad thing. And I never was upset or any of that. Like, so FaceTime is huge, but yeah, it's one of the more difficult things for a lot of people though. And granted, when I started out, and like they're like, whoa, like on top of all this, you have to like also be like good at timing, which that's a skill that a lot of people wouldn't, that it's really hard to see that on TV sometimes with people. I don't remember, there was a battle royal that was to put Roman over. And this is when I was kind of in my punishment period, and I was a heel, and I was getting good at being like kind of like coming up with things, and the match was going, like a lot of things were going wrong. And I remember I had to tell Axel and Roman, the eliminations were going out of order. Somebody messed up something. I remember people were freaking out, and like people on the outside of the ring freaking out. And we got it back under control. And I told Roman, we called a spot, and I directed it for a double spear to hit me and Axel with a double spear. And that's on YouTube somewhere with that. but I don't remember all the details, and it wasn't anything extravagant or but it was just like a little thing. I remember that was around the period I was getting a really, really comfortable and like in coming into my own, like, cause just, we were working nonstop and I was comfortable in the beginning too. But like, again, I'd been out for a bit and coming back, and I was working short 2-on-1 matches for a while. Right. And then got thrown into the main event. And then when I got thrown into the main event, I was, that was, you're listening more than you're directing on that. And then after a point, then you get to a point and talent changes. Right. And now you're that person. And that kind of, and I always preferred being that person rather than outside of, and it was cool. John, and of all the guys, and I know John personally with stuff I've said, I enjoyed working with John as well as Jericho. Put them hand in hand together on that they were really, really professional though still, as far as in with the matches, and learned a lot really quickly, and I felt able to take that, made me a better baby face and heel down the road with that. So even though, you could sit there and say the feud and everything, I thought we always had great matches. Always. I would have preferred it was to put the title on me. Just the way everything went, I think from a character standpoint, it needed that after the babyface run the way that it ended. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do? I learned a lot of lessons in that if I'm able to go back and do things that are very valuable to me, and everything I have now is because of that stuff motivated me to learn outside of the business how to make money, so that my fate wasn't dictated by other stuff going on that had nothing to do with creative, all from the legal stuff so that I'm still unfortunately dealing with. I think I missed a super chat. I'll get to that. What was my favorite? Matt, thank you for the super chat. Your character was very underutilized. The storylines now would be much better with you headlining. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Matt. Yeah, I think we'll see what happens once everything. I got to talk to my attorney on Monday with everything going on, and see where everything's at, and we'll go from there. I'm just getting stronger and healthier, and I'd seen I saw there was somebody, and they just block it and just keep going on. But it just kind of, and I understand this is going to happen. So many people don't understand, the needing a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement. My back's now 100%. The shoulder has been a much lengthier, much more difficult thing, and it's so close. But somebody essentially wrote a pretty detailed message saying that they can't support me anymore, that they give up, that they go, you're never coming back. You're just going to keep working out, and you're just no mention of running a business or anything like that, because it doesn't help with their narrative. That I'm always gonna I'm never gonna come back, essentially, and that if my life is just working out and doing food videos, that they can't support me, and they were clearly very, very upset, and there was some other stuff in there. But so, anyways, I just keep going about my day, but it just reminded me. I go, what I'm doing has never been done before, and I've got all this legal stuff going on, by the way, that I've won. But there's a lot of serious stuff going on with this. But there's going to be people that give up along the way. There's probably a lot that have. They're like, oh, this guy, they don't understand. They don't know what it's like to need a shoulder replacement at 34 and doing something that nobody's ever done before without getting their shoulder replaced, which would have been game over for me. And I'm like so close. And this is why, it didn't fit their time frame of because they would have given up. And so, but I'm not giving up just because they gave up, or they would have given up, or they can't understand the work that goes into this. I was just telling my dad this. Went and saw my dad yesterday, and I just said, no matter how much I talk about this, nobody will ever understand the amount of work I've had to do the last 6 years to even be at this point that I'm in right now. And I said, I could tell it, and I could tell it all day long. I could tell it on the Joe Rogan podcast. I could tell people about the 19 stem cells, the hours every single day of rehab exercises, along with the training, and then all the scar tissue work, which is hours, seeing multiple people for extended periods of time, getting my shoulder worked on every single week with the scar tissue with Wasana. Like, for years, 3 years I've been seeing her on this now, and she just goes, it's a miracle how far you've come, and like, but this is what it takes, and that's why I preach my mindset with people, and then I go, they'll be back on the bandwagon once the victory has happened, but they gave up along the way, and I don't, whatever, you give up, just because you gave up doesn't mean I have to give up, right? Because if I give up, then I'm just like, then now I'm like you, and not you personally, but like, like them. So, and it was really cool because I love when I see stuff like that, because then that would be my message of the week next week when I talk to the Feed Me More Nutrition newsletter people, and I'll condense that into a short message for the text with the discount. And I was like, and just like, yeah, you gave up. That doesn't mean I have to give up, And I was like, I don't need that energy around me. You're blocked. You go about your business. It's cool. I'm glad you felt the need. You could have just stopped watching me. You don't, but instead you wanted to make it personal and try to attack me. And like, why? You want me to give up? Why would you want me to give up? Because you didn't. That's going to make you feel better about yourself. But that's the world we live in. And that's where a lot of the hate and the negativity and the critiques from those not doing come in, because you upset them because you're doing, rather than just them saying, hey, this guy, just for whatever reason, I just don't want to watch him. Don't watch. I do it with a lot of people. Like, but there's nothing wrong with that. But like, to then personally try to stop them from doing what, because they're not like you. Odd thing. Human nature is very odd to me, but that's life. All right, we're going to shell shock them out of here. I'm not even going to give you any credit for even I wanted to say hi to you, but you spammed the chat. Ryback, is it true the submission specialist, Great Khali, was your idol? I love the Great Khali. I think Great Khali is a great human being and great guy. And I don't think anyone can truly appreciate how difficult it is. He's not Big Show's really athletic, and Great Khali though had in his back injuries, and he was his body's massive, but his legs are really long, and it always reminded me his back looked like it was fused, and maybe it was at some point, but he's an amazing guy, man. I loved wrestling Great Khali. Anytime you get a guy like that, and he gets great reactions too, he's over, and and you're overcoming the odds, wrestling a real life giant, all day long. I'll go to that matchup. You'll get better reactions, and I always wrestling a guy like that, than doing a million flips. And you go in person, you'll see if you do the match right. Ryback, do you have any thoughts on CBD relieving anxiety and pain? Or is it snake oil? Or is there legitimacy to it? So there's people that swear by it. I've tried the CBD, but I didn't try it long enough, and it didn't really do anything for my pain in my back and shoulder, which were really bad. Maybe now where my shoulders at so close, that might be something I should look into trying to see, because I know people that swear by it. They say though, and everyone I've talked to told me that I didn't take enough of it. That there's certain ones that you got to take that with their higher milligrams that are really good for pain. I don't know about the anxiety part. But I think it's worth it. My thing is this: you can listen to a million people. The best way to know is to just go get a good product and try it. RVD has stuff. I've never used his, but I if I do buy some, I'll probably go buy some from him on his online shop or something, because I'd support him, because I like Rob, and I trust Rob knows what he's doing, and that's one of his passions, right? Legit, that's the supplements are one of my passions. That's why I it's. But yeah, I just think you got to try it and see, and if it helps. Because like I said, I could swear by it, or I could say, hey, that didn't work for me, but it's not the case. I see so many people swear by it that I go, it can't be it can't be that many people that are tricked, right? Let's see. Shoulder pain does suck, and it is. I don't wish it on anyone, and I'm in such a good place now with where I'm at. But I just posted I posted a video yesterday, and just to give you guys some context of where I've come from and how bad I was to where I am now. after my first shoulder scope in stem cell procedure in 2000. It was I think it was the beginning of 2017. I had to take some time off, and then I was able to start training. And I remember I did an appearance in Pennsylvania, and I went to the gym, and I was going to do whatever I could, very light workout, to try to start like lifting a little bit again. And I'll never forget this. I went to the hammer strength machine, and this is on my IG and TikTok, so you can see the exact machine I'm talking about, which is yesterday's post. You'll see it with 4 45-pound plates on there, which I used to be able to just rep out like nothing, just easy, just rep. I used to put on 5 plates. You got to be careful because if you go too hard, it could fall off. But usually 4, and you just rep it out. I had a 5-pound plate. A 5-pound plate I put on that when my shoulder was at it after the first procedures, and it was grinding and moving all over the place. The stability was horrible, and I just said, "There's no way." Like I remember just thinking at the time, I go, "How am I gonna like get better from this? Like my shoulder is destroyed." I am now doing 4 plates once again and not getting grinding, which I was getting grinding up until that going that heavy weight, and I'm now at a point where I could do that weight and not get grinding. And it's still not 100%, but it's so close. Like this is just to give you the context of how far we've come, and like on all of this, and that's why I know like what I'm doing is working, and where I go, like if people like give up, or if people, I go, I get it, cool. I don't care if it takes 10 more years, like, and it's not going to take 10 more years, but that's my mindset. I don't care if I have to come back at 50 to over, like I am in all the way on this. And no one's going to stop me. No one's going to stop this. And it's going to be an incredible story. And it's going to be inspirational and motivational for a lot of people on doing something that has never been done. And like I said, as angry and frustrated as I get at times with everything going on in my social media being suppressed, and which like, I've been given the gift, and I've been given the ability to show people my mindset is real. And that's my brand. And it is only going to it's going to catapult everything the moment this is all over. Mark my words. And that I go, that is, as angry as I can get over this, I go, I've got to prove to you guys, right, that I am who I say I am, and my mindset and my brand, that I am who I am and where I am because of that mindset. And over the odds were already with the injuries, but now with everything else going on and winning stuff with WWE, and like it's going to be a beautiful story that I will get to stand on stage and tell over and over and over for the rest of my life, along with all the other stuff I continue to do and growing my brand and business and being going to be a major player in a lot of ways. And it's, nothing's ever easy, but that is where everything is going. So I just I thank the people that stayed with me on everything and believe me and listen over a lot of the lies. And I'm not perfect, and I know the things. And the tweet a couple weeks ago, whatever it was, that was done 100%. I told you specifically for legal reasons with the things that I'm doing, and also with what they've said and what they've done and what they're doing to me. Right? I'm dealing with a very evil human being and corporation that are doing a lot of bad things, and it's my life. I have to fight. If I don't, if I'm quiet, nothing gets done and nothing gets fixed. So that's why I have to be the way that I am. But I give you this content and I talk to you guys so you can see me and hear me and listen to me. You go, you know what? I may not have liked that, but I can at least kind of understand, where he's coming from maybe with that, and so that's where, and maybe you don't, and that's your right not to. But again, this is my fight, and what I have to do what I believe is right in at the time. Derek, thank you for letting me know you want to grease up my body. Derek, the oil boy in the house. Have you put in that job application yet for WWEcorp.com, Derek? You could use me as a reference if you'd like, and say that I mentioned to you about being the traveling oil boy. Telling you, Derek, the opportunity's there. A lot of guys in great shape for you, Derek. Orton, I know, is the one you want the most. Orton's big on the baby oil. Oiling up RK Bro before they go out. Just imagine it, Derek. Bill Wilde, thank you for the super chat. Love the new t-shirt styles that feed me more, big guy. Yeah. Oh, so the new site and everything is going to be up here, Bill. They just sent over a thing and I had to give my insight onto it. And I posted a little picture of kind of the theme of what it's going to look like. So these people that I'm working with now, they are top notch. They work with Mike Tyson, Eminem, Donald Trump Jr., and a bunch of other like the Hodge twins. They work with like some big time people that do really well. I wish I would have got in contact with them right away with things, but I'm very excited with where we are going. And it's everything. We're going to have full merch, all the supplements, and everything's going to be categorized. It's going to be the website's going to be very, very up to date and modern, and very easy to navigate. And the website now is the best version it's been since I've had it, and I'm learning along the way and working with people. Now, though, it's like now we really are coming into our own with all of this, and I'm looking forward to because the revenue is going to go up substantially by bringing them on. It already it's going to be a really cool thing that is going to allow me to put more money into the supplements. So I'm really, really pumped, and hopefully get all this legal BS all over with really soon here, and we are off to the races. Cheeky baby, I appreciate you swinging back in. Shell shock. Cheeky baby, you're out of here. Justin asked, who is the head person at live events? It would be whoever the producers. There'd usually be 2 or 3 producers on the road for each brand at the time. And those were the people that were kind of in charge. They were in charge. And live events are so laid back. Everyone, I mean, you're literally, you go, you're at the gym, you go to the gym, you go get your food, you stroll up to the building backstage in the parking lot. Sometimes there'd be fans out there. Not as much as like for TV and pay-per-views, but there'd be fans for the live events that want to see you walk in. You walk in with your gym clothes on. You go sit down, eat your food, play on your phone a little bit. You already got your match. You know what you're doing. You know where you're at on the card. And you just it's so fun, man. It was you're not at the building all day. You're not dealing with writers. If you did have a promo, it was the producer would say cut a minute promo on this, but it's not written for you. So, but everyone just had an understanding of like what you do and don't do. And man, it was just crowds were always loud. Great time, man. Great time on that. Just very easy, very easy. And you're not worried about like anyone, like you're not worried about like your character for TV getting buried, or because it's a live event. It's just fun, man. So I always loved live events. I don't know anything about Liver King. I saw he just did a podcast with what's his name? How am I forgetting the name? Logan Paul. It was just on WrestleMania. And I just saw a short little clip. I don't get caught up in any of that. The guy is clearly though like using other things, right? And I don't know if he says he doesn't, or what the way his body has a different look, right? And it's just not something I pay attention to. I just don't pay attention to it. He made some money selling things, and he hurt, a lot of animals that are tortured and hurt in the process of that. Cool. That's what you do, but I think if you're going to do that, you got to be, that's why I tell you guys, like, I'm honest and transparent. Like, no, I'm on TRT, HRT since 28, the same levels, like, and it's all mid-normal, mid-high levels, like nothing like, but it would, and most men, once they get in their 30s and 40s, go on that. And the ones that don't usually have low T, and some people are lucky and don't get that with that, right? But that's not like cheating or abusing the system. It's not using other drugs or anything like that. But I was like, I genuinely have used my supplements since I was in my 20s. I started making all this. It's a little different, right? With that, But there's when you do something else and then tell people like, "Hey, I'm doing this, and this is why I look the way that I look," or it's just okay, cool. Uh-oh, I missed a super chat. Let's see. Uh, do I drink alcohol anymore? I usually do red wine once a week, um, and nothing crazy. Sometimes just a bottle with that, and then occasionally, like I go back and forth. It'll be either a bottle or two bottles. But if I do two bottles, it's with a lot of water, and the one bottle is with a lot of water too. But it's not like a quick like chug it or anything. It's drunk over a period of 4 hours usually around that time, and drinking a lot of water with it. And it's just more of like a mental relaxation. I sleep beautiful on it. And it's my treat once a week with that. And from everything I've seen, if with wine and stuff, they say no more than two bottles a week. Like that's like the where I go, okay. And my blood pressure is always perfect. All my numbers are always great, right? On everything. So, and that's where I look at it. I go, I feel like if there are any negative effects, that's possibly that they're negated by really watering it down. I feel like, and also though the mental relief, like I really look forward to it every week. I love balance. Like it's a treat every week. Like to if you do it, or to know, like rather than like, oh, I'm not going to drink ever. It doesn't hurt my body. I add it into my calories for the day. I do a 24-hour fast right after, right? So to me, it like kind of is like a little reward for the end of the week because like life is about. I always look at it like this, right? We try to be as healthy as humanly possible with everything we do, but like we also want to live life. And like if you just are like stressed all the time and you don't do anything, and you're like you see doctors that tell you everything's bad for you, right? All these things, and they're not wrong on things that, but like there's also the stress of thinking everything's bad for you, and I feel like that can take away from your life as well. Whereas if you're able to have balance and you're like, hey, I could drink once a week. I know myself. It's not like I'm drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels every week. That's much more severe and hard on your liver, right? With everything, your kidneys. I'm just two bottles of wine diluted literally a gallon of water at least over 4 hours at the extreme end of it. I look at that. I go, which is the equivalent of like 8 beers, 9 beers, possibly, right? If I'm not mistaken in my math. So you look at it like so once a week, it's like doing 8 beers, and but with a bunch of water. So it's like, I think it's I'm doing all right, and I enjoy it. And now if I ever have anything where I think, you know what, I think this is negatively impacting my life, I think it's I got to make some adjustments. Like, hey, maybe it's just a glass once a week. As time goes on. Sorry, TikTok there, or maybe it's a bottle only, no more than a bottle, and with a gallon of water. But the two's the upper end, and never any more than that. And it's like I said, over a period of time. Wake up really early. Don't feel you're not hungover. No negative effects with that, and yeah. And I'm also too. I think you got to take some people. I am a large fellow. The shamist myself. I am a large fellow. The 285, 290 pounds most of the time, right? So, hello, hello. We got some weirdos in here. What was the biggest culture shock or biggest damn moment when first coming to the WWE? Uh, the Nexus stuff was all pretty surreal. Nexus, but like just being on the main roster, even NXT and like, but Nexus, like we went from doing nothing to being in the main event every single night on live events and TV in the main storyline. Like, talk about like, you know, literally went from thinking we're going to get sent back to developmental and be like, oh my God, am I ever going to make it out of developmental with the other guys, to like headlining pay-per-views, taking chair shots from Bret Hart. It was a pretty surreal moment. And then being up there and being so comfortable, and it's just night and day like that. that to me was, I remember towards like after being there for the growing up in the business in my 20s, and it was it's crazy how things change, your views of things change, how things that once excited you just become very normal in that. And it doesn't mean that they're not exciting anymore, they just become much normal because it's part of your everyday life, you know. Hello, hello, hello. Get some weird people that are shell shock him out of here. Oh yeah, you missed the whining with the Ryback or boozing with the big guy. Yeah, I just haven't done, like, I use that as my period just to relax and to, just to just not do anything. Right? That's because that's working at the end of the day, even if it's funny and laughing. Like it's just where I is, so that's why I don't include it on that. I haven't. Not to say that I won't at some point, but and I think I will down the road once everything and doing different things. But under now, it's just like my moment just to shut down and just relax. Who had the best smelling cologne in the locker rooms? I have no idea, man. I don't ever remember being like thinking like, oh man, so and so smells amazing today. Like, I don't know. Brian says, if social media, this is a really good question, actually. If social media didn't have a block or ignore button, would you still have used social media? 100%. The, I think I'm immune to, by the way, to hate and negativity at this point. Like immune. If you ever notice, like I haven't changed one bit, right? I haven't done, but I have a business and I got to use it for things. I just believe it's essentially like the blocking in stopping people. It's just you're stopping them from pushing their mindset and their hate. And it's like essentially, like I said, it's essentially a punch. In that if you view, everyone's gonna have different views of how they view it. But like if somebody disrespects you in person, there's repercussions, right? That's like the repercussion on social media to that everything that we have, just to kind of say, nope, we're not gonna tolerate that with that. And that's where I tell people too, the filters are a beautiful thing. Like I don't even now have to be even exposed. There's a very minimal on that on with, and it's not things over like, say like something in if I did something in real life, I'm trying to where like think of like Michael Vick, right? Where like someone like that did some really that passionate and like with animals with that. You see, like, and then people, it's all wrestling related, and the majority of it's all keywords and things that are all based around lies into things, and it's just like that. It's the same type of human being always on that, and it's just it wastes time. Whether even so, you eliminate the need to even have to block people by just preventing them with that even coming at you to begin with now. And where you could just use social media to promote your stuff, do your stuff, put out your stuff, and just go about living life with that. If there wasn't a block button, I would just have to just literally, it wouldn't change anything. I would just keep doing everything that I'm doing with that. You just ignore them, right? But or hopefully there'd be a mute button still. You just hit mute or something. But if not, it's like never has anything like a negative comment. If you like, never have I just like, man, they're right. Like what? Like not once, because like I know the truth on everything, and it's just like it's. I recognize. I go, oh, that person's usually their mindset's in a pretty bad place that they're not self-aware enough to know like if you hate someone and don't like them, don't waste your time with them. Like you're not going to stop anything anyways, right? So it's like just you might as well just spend your time doing something different. But yeah, I would still do everything that I'm doing, like no different, because it's my brand and business, and but I would live life as much as possible like I am now. Like I'm gonna go look at chicken coops down at the store, and I'm probably gonna come back home with a chicken coop and all the stuff ready to raise chickens. I'm pretty comfortable that I know enough now to get 6 to 10 baby chickens and raise them. And so I have fresh eggs for my house because I want to add eggs into my diet, but I don't want to do. And there's local farms here to get them from with that, but not having to be a part of like the torture that's going on in the egg industry with that, and because I love eggs and it's the perfect protein with that. And but we have two farms here in town that you buy them from. It's great. But that's I'm probably going to go do that today, and like just I go all in on things that make me happy, man. Like I just got a new moringa tree and I love watering. I've got growing fruit trees, pomegranates are growing, figs are growing, cherries are growing out back, and all the other lemon and orange trees coming along. Like so I'm like I'm happy, man, like with that stuff. So I know enough to like if I'm exposed to anything, or the hate and negativity, and if say there wasn't a block button, and say you're going to have like 2 days of just nonstop, people are pissed off, right? Like a couple weeks ago, you just literally do it where you're just like, oh, I'm just not going to go like look at that for periods of time, and then I don't have to even deal with it, right? And I'm very good at that, very very good at that, and it took some practice and with that, and I'm thankful for it all now because it's like you see, look at the people that people literally have taken their own lives with how people act on social media, right? And like, I'm so grateful that I'm in a place where nothing will ever impact me. There's nothing anyone can ever say that's going to hurt because I know who and what I am, and I know the truth at the end of the day with that too. And I think it's important. Like people that know me in real life, I get along with great, and the people that like people are really nice to me in real life, right? And then there's so many people nice on social media as well. But that's what you're going to deal with. The hate you deal with is usually only on social media. It's not like I'm going places and like people. It's the complete opposite. So that's where I was like, oh, I know what the deal is. It's just people that they believe lies or they want to hate, and they're no matter what that's what they're doing. And it's like too a lot of the people that do it. If you ever look at their accounts, they're usually hating on 100 other people throughout the day. Go look, and you're just like this person just they're not just hating on you. That's just what they do. They're distracted. They're wasting their time. They're not living life, and it's a horrible man. I feel it's a horrible way to live life, in my opinion. And but whatever they do to fill their time, hey, more power to them. I just don't want them in Rybackville at the end of the day. Like, hey, cool, no ill feelings, but just keep your energy away. Go. There's billions of people. I'm more than confident that there's going to be enough that they're on my side. Liam, yeah, definitely hope you check out Feed Me More Nutrition. We don't do samples on there, but I do. I just take a look at all the products on that, and then if you see something that you have a particular question on, let me know. Let's see. Fruits grow really well here. So just to let you know, I have two orange trees. I just got another. It's that the orange tree is supposed to be in any day now. I just got a moringa tree, which you can eat the leaves and the fruits that grow on that, which is very healthy for you. But I got to leave it in the pot for 2 weeks before I plant it to let it really gain some strength because they recommend that for those plants on the shipping. But I've got in my backyard, I've got a peach tree, plum tree, orange tree growing, um, fig tree, custard apple, which I don't know if that's gonna survive. It did all last year, but it's not blooming here, and it's hard to tell. I'll have to leave it for another year just to make sure. But I got custard apple, which was from Puerto Rico. A lemon tree, which is growing lemons, cherry tree, Stella cherry, which is growing cherries, and the pomegranate and the other orange tree will be planted out front as well. But the pomegranate tree is growing big. The pomegranates are already about that big, growing on it, and so probably in 2 or 3 more weeks, those are going to be ready to eat. I think there's like 20 pomegranates on it growing already, which I just planted that last year, so I'm thrilled with that. I love pomegranates, and they're really really good for us. So, and then the moringa tree will be planted out back, and this is I'm really like you'd be amazed at what can grow in Vegas. Like I think we're a zone 8 or a zone 9, if I'm not mistaken. So we can grow. You can grow quite a bit here. I use a razor on my head every other day. Every other day. I've not watched really any of the Dark Side of the Ring on any of that. I just don't. Man, I don't. I want to say I saw a little bit and piece of something, and and if I'm not mistaken, I watched it was maybe the Benoit one, which was really good. But I don't get too caught up. I honestly don't watch a lot of TV to begin with. So no, I've never considered going into the UFC. I don't think you guys understand. So when I see that question, I'm just like, do you like? This is why I laugh when like people like I'm just my life is just repeating like myself of what's going on, like with the back and shoulder. That's why the lies, and I just laughed. I remember when the Bellator stuff, and I'm just like, never at any point in time would I ever consider I needed a 5 disc fusion and shoulder replacement when all those, and I'm like, people just don't like they'll just print anything to get clicks and to get sites, and I'm just like, get out of here, man. Yeah, that's the exact thing I need to go do in that health condition. Like, so no, I don't even. I enjoy it. I would like to pick up, resume the training again, but like I'm like, man, I like balance in life, and like I make money through a business. Like I'm living the ultimate life. I was just telling someone, I go, my cash register goes off 24 hours a day. I've worked so hard to be able to do that, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? So I don't think you guys. I was like, I don't need to go risk, getting permanent brain damage. Why? Like I have it working for everything I'm doing to go back to be a physical actor that I love more. I love that more than anything. So Walter, good to see you, buddy. Double W in the house. Happy to see you on. Hope your weekend has been great so far. Much love to you and the family. Hope the rest of your day and weekend is great. Thank you, Walter, and you too, buddy. I hope everything's going well for you guys over there. It's always good to see you come in here, man. Probably be doing today and tomorrow on the Ryback show. 'Cause I got home later. I went and saw my dad for a little bit yesterday and hung out. It's little guy's birthday tomorrow as well. So I got to go actually today. I got to go get I'm going to go to the pet store to go get their cake. And I'm sure my mom will dress them up tomorrow and get photos with them as well. And I'll be posting all those, but he'll be 5 years old. My little guy's not so little anymore. So, and then Sophie will be 7. Her birthday is November 24th, but I always celebrate it on Halloween. I call her my little Halloween baby. So I watch a little baseball from time to time, not a lot. If like I could put on just a little bit. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. I couldn't even name you talents under 30. I don't like I don't even know. Like I would have to have a sheet of paper with the names and ages of people like on it. And age is irrelevant in wrestling as far as I look at like on what a talent does. Like you could be, like I said, 40 to 50 is usually your prime money making years if you're smart. Like maybe throw 35 to 50 in there if you that range, but some guys' careers could be done before the 30. They could I've seen guys come in that they think are going to be the world, they get into the business super young and they don't amount to anything. And they're out by their mid 20s. So I don't really factor any of that in too much to anything. Let's see. You're almost to 500,000 subscribers, big guy. No, we're at 400, and that is not the numbers. We need to get the social media fixed. And I told you guys I made a post. So OnlyFans there's a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit that is being that only, and I can't remember if it's like that Fan Centro. I don't know where but it's people that were not on OnlyFans. A lot of adult performers and people, and they noticed they started getting shadow banned on social media, and the accounts that are tied to this. So OnlyFans conspired with Facebook, Meta, IG, Snapchat, YouTube, and Twitter. All the accounts, by the way, that I'm suppressed on. this going on. And there's a list, there's an internal list that these companies use, and with their partners, and I believe this stuff is going to come to light. But they're filing a lawsuit against OnlyFans for conspiring with these companies. And what's going to be really telling is if this information, and they're getting subpoenaed, these social media companies, they're going to have to, like, this stuff is going to come out. And this is why I said, and I believe WWE and Vince, it's not just me. Excuse me. He is suppressing a lot of former talents. And I could look at it and I could see right away, and there's talents that are there that have actually reached out and messaged me that believe their accounts are being restricted as well while they're there. And I'm not saying names, I would never do that to them and put them in any jeopardy or anything like that. And I'm just the one that, because I got the letter, they wanted my social media. And I tell people, this is the thing I try to get you to understand. So you know how WWE and Vince is. You've heard the stories of, right? So do you think, and I posted the proof that they wanted my social media how many times now? So that's all been posted. You see that they wanted my social media and demanded me to sign it over. And when we said no, because they can't make you sign anything over, I owned all that stuff, by the way. They didn't own it. I owned it already. So like they were just trying to bully me into signing it over. Do you think, though, how they are that they're going to stop it there and go, oh, he didn't sign it over? Or do you think it's logical that their next step would be, well, we're going to silence his social media since he's not going to give it to us. We're going to, because he's going to speak on things, and we're going to silence him. And we're going to push out a lot of lies and a lot of hate. And it's exactly what has gone on. And I'm telling you, the truth is going to come out. And there's a reason. By the way, guys, they reached out about 5 months ago to settle with me. You want to know why they want me to settle? Because they want me to sign an NDA agreement. Do you know why they want me to sign that? Because of the stuff that's about to start coming out. And I have a lot of other stuff on them, by the way, with that. But they need, I'm winning the Ryback trademark. So they need to pay up, and they know this. And that's what's going on right now and why things have been delayed. They're in a position, they're losing the trademark, and they don't want me speaking on what the things that are going to come out. So you could say whatever you wanted to say and think about me. They know the deal and what's going on with that. And there's a reason why I've won everything with that. And I am not afraid. I am not afraid to speak on a lot of other things they do not want me speaking on. And that is where we are at with things. I don't want to. I want it over and done with. I want this out of my life forever. But nope. This is where we're at right now with everything. So I want my social media, and I want these evil people to leave me alone. And I'm fighting. This is a fight that I need to get taken care of with that. So, and it will get. I'm just telling you this. It's going to get very, very ugly, really, really quickly, in a matter of time, and they know it too. But this stuff is all going to come out. And I'm telling you, they're going to get connected to this, and it's going to open Vince and them up to major issues. So, LZ Ballista, thank you for the super chat. What's up? Remember me? What you think of Cody Rhodes? What's going on, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Always got along great with Cody. Very happy for him, and we'll see what happens with the decision that he made to go back, right? And I don't know what kind of contract he signed or anything of that nature, but I actually do want to watch. I heard his match with Seth. I saw WrestleMania, but I did not see the last one, the WrestleMania Backlash. I'll probably YouTube that today and watch the highlights and see. And I've got Peacock too, but I'll probably just watch the highlights of it or whatever portions posted on YouTube and catch a little bit of it on there. Thank you for reminding me of that, because I wanted to do that the other day and I forgot. Arthur Morgan, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Super chat's rolling in for the big guy today. I like all sports, man. I love watching football during football season. I'll catch some games. Not a lot, but like usually if the Bucks are playing, I love Tom Brady, man. And I love like Aaron Rodgers. I'm a big players guy, and I'm not like, I don't really have I root for the Bucks more often than not, but like I was happy the Rams won the Super Bowl. I grew up loving and watching the Rams. My dad's from California, so I grew up watching all the games with him. Me and my dad went to a Rams game when I was a kid. I got to see Jerome Bettis play. It was them versus the New York Giants at their old stadium. I always watched a lot of hockey, watched a lot of the LA Kings. The Golden Knights, I don't mind, I've never been to a game live. I don't like going to big events, like being around people like that. But like, I'm not to say that I won't at some point. But you know, and I think once everything's done with all this stuff going on, it'll be allow me to relax a little bit more on some things. I've just been in go mode ever since I walked out, and with everything that's gone on, that until business is finished, I just look at it like there's no, you know, there's no letting up on the pedal till this is all done. LZ, I hope you're all right. I'm very sorry you got in a car wreck, man. I'm happy you're alive and all right, though. Very scary. And always, it's got to be very aware when we're driving. And even then, there's nothing we could do sometimes. It is, I see people driving crazy here all the time. And I just like, I get really upset when I see that. People swerving in and out of traffic, driving at really high speeds. I'm like, I just say, what is going to be accomplished? You know, nothing, nothing. I did a shell shock BOGO, I think a week or two ago, my man. I want to say 1 or 2 weeks ago we did one. So you missed it. We do so many great discounts though on the thing. You're always, there's so many ways to save on that. Hello, hello. Trying to see if there was one more question. All right, guys. With that, we're going to wrap up today's show. I got to head out here a little bit. Somebody just messaged me. I got to go take care and try to go take a look at the chicken coops and everything else, and go look at some chickens, possibly too, some baby chickens for the big guy. And so they bond with Sophie and little guy, and don't be mean to them when they're older. I'm really going all in. I'm gonna buy some more stuff for farming and like growing some more food, vegetables and potatoes, and like I really, it's so peaceful to me. Which eventually I'd like to get more land, and but I'm adding some things to the big Casa de la Big Guy here, and today is my day fasting to go get some of this done. So, anyways, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Please check out my Feed Me More nutrition line. You can save over on feedmemore.com 20% with discount code RYBACKSHOW20. And we've got all the new merch and everything, the new website, and all that's going to be coming in the next probably week or two tops. If we get everything up, it's looking really good. And they're really close. They just got to make a few updates on some things. And we're going to have a full merch. It's going to be really, really cool. The stuff we're going to be offering, really high quality. And I'm looking forward to getting all that out for you guys on everything. So anyways, guys, have a great Saturday. I'll try to come back on for a Sunday live here for the Ryback show as well. And until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.